What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Motorhead YouTube channel. So today we are back to work on the Porsche GT3 and we are going to be diving into all of this damage right here. I want to see what's going on, and the first thing I really want to do is get this hood off. If you guys see in the last episode, which I'll link down below, we do have some damage here and this hood is pushed over, and unfortunately when you open up the hood, it's pulling that carbon fiber right there, and it's just super sketchy and super stressful. And that's just how Alec has been opening the hood, and we need to get this hood off ASAP because I do not want this to crack. It's going to be a lot easier to just panel bond this on there than to fix a crack. So real quickly, we're going to get this hood off and get it onto a stand. I'm going to panel bond it back to the carbon fiber, and we're going to go ahead and have the hood fixed because that's a big thing that Alec was worried about, that he'd have to buy a new hood because this hood is extremely expensive. But he got extremely lucky because the carbon fiber underneath here is not damaged at all, and this thing has dry carbon underneath, and it's extremely expensive. I think this hood is like $10,000, and that is just crazy. Get this hood off and get it on a stand, and let's go ahead and panel bond it and fix it. All right, guys, so we got the front end taken apart and it's looking really good. The shroud is broken, unfortunately, and so is the mount for it. The condenser has a dent right there. And also, I do want to take all this off and dive in further and check out this radiator. So we do need to get all of this off, but honestly, it's not looking too bad. I honestly expected it to be worse, and I've been looking through everywhere and I don't see no cracked seam sealer or any kinks or anything that would suggest that this front end moved over. The hood was over, but the minute I loosened these bolts, they shot back that way. So we're hoping that there's not frame damage up front. This is an aluminum front end, and it is just going to be a complete pain to pull because aluminum is the worst metal, because once it moves to a spot, it's very hard to get it back to its original spot. And that's why we're not fixing any of these parts, because this whole thing right here is aluminum. So we're very thankful. Hopefully when we get this fender, we'll know for sure, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there's no frame damage up front and we can just focus on getting the body panels replaced. But we are looking really good. The hood is drying. I panel bonded it, and we're gonna move on. I'm gonna take all this stuff off and we're gonna dive deeper and see what's going on under there, see if we need a radiator, because I do know we need a condenser. Even though it's not busted, we're gonna go ahead and replace it. This is a very expensive car and we want it done right. So we're gonna keep going and get all this stuff off and keep you guys posted. Okay guys, so we got this area tore down and we got a kind of an idea of more parts we need to start looking into. Obviously, we didn't look into everything because we do need to get this fender off. That way I can dive in deeper. And we do need to get this wheel off for that. We do have the special tool to take it off, but what we don't have is the breaker bar. So Alec is going to order that tonight and we're gonna get these wheels off and get it up on jack stands and probably do all the work right here. I don't think it has any frame damage. Luckily, like I said, we're not seeing any signs of frame damage here. So we'll get all the wheels off and just work on it here and get this thing straight and get it ready for paint. This is gonna be a super exciting rebuild. So stay tuned, guys. I'll catch you when we get this breaker bar and when we can get this wheel off and dig in deeper. All right, guys, so unfortunately, the breaker bar will not be here until I get back from vacation. So we're not gonna be able to get the wheels off. We do need to dive into this fender. I wanna get all this off and look under there. That way, before I leave to vacation, I can have a full parts list and we'll have everything ordered. But my friend Bobby actually just showed up and what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man?
This is his dream car and he wanted to check it out. And he also brought something super cool that I want to show you guys. And I've been meaning to get a ride in it for a while. So we're going to take a little break from the Porsche and we're going to go check this thing out. All right, guys. So this thing is absolutely crazy and we're going to let Bobby talk about it. So, dude, what did you create here, man? This right here is like a Widowmaker.
Yeah, so it's based off what's called an aerial atom. They're big in Europe, and I didn't have the money to buy one, so I built my own. We put a little Honda K-Series in it. It's from my RSX Type S, and we turboed it. It's on fuel tech, and it makes 450 horsepower and weighs 1,400 pounds.
Oh my gosh, this thing is insane. Jason actually tuned this too, if you guys remember from the dyno tuning video on my S2000. So he is the Honda guru and he set this thing up. So we're gonna go for a little ride and see what this thing got. And honestly, I'm a little scared.
It's gonna be a rush.
Oh, and the crazy thing is, guys, this thing is registered as a RSX, yeah.
Technically.
Technically, you know, there's a couple loopholes. I like your wheels, dude.
I appreciate it, man.
Very good taste. If you look over there, you know, smart minds think alike.
Yeah. I have some 16s that are lime green as well, so.
These are they're like the most bang for your buck. That's why I like them.
They really are. And I wanted a really wide wheel. I went with a 9.5 so I could run these Falcon Azinis.
Oh yeah, I bet they look good.
Oh, I have to, because if not, it spins bad. So even with the weight on the rear, it's 76% on the rear of the car.
Oh,
the weight, because we scaled it. And even with that much weight on the rear, it makes power so fast, it just starts spinning.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so
all right,
it'll do good.
Let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. This thing is just such a blast. Big shout out to Bobby.
Accelerates?
Yeah, dude.
That's the big thing. I don't like the overboost. I got to get that fixed. I got to find out if it's just creeping or if it's the gate sticking or what. But
yeah, I mean, other than that, this thing is quick. I think the only other car I experienced like that was V-Tune's McLaren.
That would sound right. Like
it's like 1,000 horsepower.
It'd have to be, yeah.
And it's the crazy thing is like the McLaren, it puts it down like.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Like it lose a little bit of traction, but for the most part, does not spin. Just goes.
Transmissions are well. I mean, look at the technology in that. Yeah. For that amount of money, it better.
I mean this thing, like just looking at it, guys, look at like just how intricate it is to sit here. And this was all you designed all this, correct?
Yeah, for the most part. Part of it was a CAD file, but everything else we had to do ourselves.
Yeah, I mean it's just wild. I do like the cantilever setup.
Yep.
That is so sick.
I wanted it to be like a real Atom as close as possible. So it would save me a lot of work if I would just put that right there. But I wanted the push rods.
Yeah, I love the Atom. I had it in Forza.
Uh-huh.
I always drove it. It was so sick.
So my friend just got rid of a real one. He had an Atom 3 supercharged.
Oh, dang.
And we went to Atlanta Motorsports Park, and I mean, it was a fast car. This one makes way more power, but that one is properly designed by professionals.
Yeah.
You know, mine's a lot more raw. Mine's gonna kill you if you get on it. You know?
Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah. It's we get a bunch of bugs everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean,
good thing we had visors.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a windscreen on it and do a little bit of a nose cone.
That's what I was thinking. Like you should make something kind of like similar to the Atom.
I want a nose cone and I want a front splitter on it, like a real big. I need some front downforce because there's no weight in the front, and when I gas on it, the front end unloads all the way and takes all the weight off of it.
Oh,
so
so you need it to hold it down.
Yeah, high speeds, and I've got a rear spoiler, but I won't put it on until I do the front. There's no reason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you put the spoiler right now, I feel like it's gonna lift up even more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not it's not like a name brand one or nothing, but I'm probably on the front going to do a 9 Lives Racing. They have a really good one. It's expensive, but...
So does it go like all the way back?
No, so I have a full pan though. So I have a full skid pan on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you don't need it.
Yeah, so I don't need it. All I need is the front part, and it'll bolt into the very front of the chassis and come out in front of the wheels, and I want it to be like an F1. I want it full width. I want it as wide as my tires.
That's going to be cool. Like, I want to actually get a ride in it when you get everything and, like, see how much different it is.
Yeah. That's the next two things with the steering and obviously the boost cut. That's very frustrating. I don't know why it's doing that. It might be a sticking wastegate. I don't know. But it only happens at the top end of the RPM.
Yeah, so that's what, like that.
Yep.
And it stopped?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the top of each gear, it was hitting boost cut. It's set at 18 pounds.
Yeah, that's kind of why I went with supercharger. It's just like way less complex, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you get way more power out of this setup. It's way more fun, but.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
You know.
So did you make all this, like everything?
So, everything was built. Me and my buddy Zach Watson. He lives in Virginia, so I go up to Virginia a couple times a year. He's my best friend, and he's more the fabricator. I'm more the mind behind it. So
y'all killed it, dude.
He done a ton of work for me, and I appreciate it.
I mean, the whole cantilever in the rear is just so dope.
And this was so difficult to get just right to have the clearance for that. It was annoying.
Oh, I bet. So did you build the frame and design everything around the frame?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We built the frame first, and then the problem was when we built the frame, we got measurements offline for the transmission and motor, and they were off a little bit.
Oh.
So it was a bear to get it to fit in there. We got it to fit in there. That's why if you look at the passenger axle, it's custom built and sleeved and welded.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have to shorten it or lengthen it or something?
Lengthen it like 5.5 inches.
Oh, dang.
When I went on that rally in Kentucky, I went with Project EG out of Atlanta. So I was going with a bunch of supercars. Like, like a Porsche like you have in there, a couple McLarens, Ferrari, stuff like that. And I broke the axle the first day. So I drove 15 hours round trip to go get it fixed and come back to finish the rally. I went to my boy Zach's in Virginia, and we fixed it. We put it back on at 4 a.m. and then went rallying at 9 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that'll work because you ain't going to fall asleep in this thing.
No, you're not.
This thing keeps you on your toes. I mean, that ride was sick. Big shout out to Bobby for that.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I haven't experienced anything like that. Vasily, you need to up your game, dude, because your cross car did not feel like this thing, dude.
Appreciate appreciate it, man.
Yeah. But we're going to get back to that Porsche and dive into that front end. We do need to get the fenders off of it, and so I can get a whole parts list compiled. All right, guys, so it's time to get back to work. We're going to get this fender off and keep diving into this damage because, like I said, we need a full parts list. Okay, guys, so we actually have really good news. There is no hidden nasty damage under here. Everything looks good. This whole rail and apron looks really good. And it doesn't look like the damage went any further than that fender. And honestly, I was looking at this fender and it could probably be worked out. And one of the brackets is broken off though. But if someone wants this fender, I'm sure Alec will sell it for a really good deal. If someone wants to fix it, if someone out there is rebuilding a 992, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. I'll link it down below. We'll be selling all of these parts, the bumpers and everything that we take off, just because even if it's fixable, like a lot of people were saying in the last video about this quarter panel, that we should PDR it. Yes, you can fix this and get it shaped real nice, but I doubt you could fix this without filler. And also, we really don't want any filler because this is a clean title and it's a super nice car. And we don't want not an ounce of Bondo on it. Maybe in the seams when we change the quarter panel, but that's about it. Nothing that's actually hiding body damage. And we want to make sure everything goes back exactly how it came. And that's why we did this, because we're going to go over it and make sure we order everything down to the hair. So I pretty much have a list compiled of everything we need. I'm waiting on the breaker bar. I'm not really sure how to take this back bumper off. I'm pretty sure it's these things right here come off, and then you have to remove this top section. So we might not dig into this just yet, simply because I don't think there's really any damage here. I mean, honestly, this isn't even bad at all, and all the gaps are really good, and everything looks super good. So we're probably just gonna wait off on this. That way it's not all taken apart. And when it's time to do the quarter panel, we'll take all of this off. We're going to have a brand new quarter from the dealer, brand new everything. And it's going to be super nice, and everything's going to fit super well because it's not used or damaged. And it's not going to have any work besides sanding it and painting it. And that's just a huge plus. We're going to have to find this tail light. And interesting thing is it actually goes all the way across and it's one piece. I do love the new design. I mean, Porsche just really did it right. In my honest opinion, Porsche is one of the best car manufacturers out there. And working on this car, I can just solidify my claims now, because just seeing how well built this car is and everything, it's just crazy. Like, for instance, the wing took such a hard hit, literally broke the swan neck, and it didn't even break that wing. It just made a little dent in it. And that's just insane to me. And just looking how everything's put together, I mean, this car is built to go around a track, and it's just such a blast to work on this thing. But I'm gonna go on vacation, and we're gonna get all of these parts ordered, and that way the GT3 build is gonna go full underway, and when we get back, we can just start cranking content on it. Before we go though, I do want to go ahead and address this hood. So as you guys know, we saved it, and right here where it was bent up, it made a little crease. So we're gonna sand it out and fix it and throw some primer on this area and that chip right there. I just want to give Alec ease of mind that his hood is saved, because it is $10,000 and we're going to be saving him a lot of money. So, you know, I want to just fix it. That way I can just be like, yo, bro, your hood is fixed. It's good to go. Don't worry about it. Just focus on the other parts. So we're going to go ahead and sand this down right here. I'm just going to hit it with some 80 grit, flatten it out. And if it needs any putty, we'll throw some putty and get it primed, and it's going to be good to go. And that'll be $10,000 off of the already insanely cheap price on this car. This is the cheapest one by far, and I already know because I talked to someone who just bought a GT4 just like this, and this thing is just crazy cheap. So comment down below what you think the price is. We're gonna wait on y'all a little bit. We'll reveal the price a little bit later, but just know this thing is insanely cheap. So let's go ahead and get this hood fixed. Okay guys, so we have good news and bad news. The bad news is we're not going to be able to prime this because I looked into the crack and the crack was actually over the edge right here. And if you can see, there's a flat edge here and a flat edge here, and they meet right here. And so it was gone. And the only way to build it up would be either A, with some body filler, and that is just a no-go because yes, you can fix it, and we are trying to save 10,000 here. But we're not going to save it by cutting corners. You do not want Bondo as an edge because over time, the heat will just crack it. So what I did was I panel bonded it, and panel bond is extremely strong. It's even on CAD programs, it calls for panel bond to replace roofs, quarter panels. We're actually going to be panel bonding this quarter panel on, and it's pretty cool. I can't wait to show you. There's a little plate, and it has 2 nuts, and you panel bond it, and then you tighten them on. And after you give it time to cure, you cut them off and you throw a skim coat of filler, and that is the proper procedure that they call for on a lot of new vehicles. So this stuff is extremely strong, and it's a whole lot stronger in Bondo, and I'm willing to bet when we sand it down, we won't even have to throw filler here, which is going to be awesome because it's carbon fiber hood. We don't want no filler on it. And this right here actually sanded out really nice. So there was a low spot, but I was able to flatten it out, and we won't have to have filler on here. We'll just throw a little skim coat of primer, and you can see underneath here the little base coat. It already has a primer on it. And so that's going to be super nice that we don't have to use filler. And just like that, guys, this hood is definitely savable. We're going to have to wait 24 hours for this because I want it to cure properly. That way I can sand it out and it'll be fixed. So that's going to be it, guys. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this Porsche video. I hope you guys enjoyed us digging into the damage and seeing just how bad this car is. And honestly, it's not bad at all. This thing is barely touched. And I know to some people, it may look like it's not barely touched, but in reality, very lucky here, especially with all that fender damage. I really expected at least one of these lines to be kinked or crushed or an apron moved over, but there's no cracked seam sealer. There's no kinks anywhere. There's no bends. Everything is just looking awesome. It's just good news. And I love to hear it because when we get these new parts, we're just going to throw everything on. The fender, hopefully everything will line up. Fingers crossed. You know, don't want to jinx ourselves with that. And the door, obviously, we'll have to line it up. I'm willing to bet the new door will even line up to that quarter. Because I'm thinking, I've been looking at it, I'm thinking maybe from the hit, it pushed the door out, and that's why there's the gap. So honestly, this car might just be a walk in the park. And we're going to get this thing back on the road as soon as possible. So stay tuned, guys. If you want to keep up with this build, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the post notifications so you don't miss out on any of the content on this insane car. And stay tuned, guys. I'm going to get my dream car, childhood dream car, and I've always wanted this car, and I can't believe this is happening, and it's going to be absolutely insane. So if you want to see that video, also be sure to stick around. I appreciate all the love and support from you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.